Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and for the love of God, people, you are sitting on a potential gold mine, and I can't have this anymore. Here's the thing, regardless of what industry you're in, whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, a side hustler, it doesn't matter to me. You could be an accountant, in real estate, a network marketer, a coach, have a corporate job. None of it matters to me. You can still make money online doing this. In fact, this is the fastest and easiest way to start making money and building a brand online, in my opinion. And, my opinion is over 12 years of experience of entrepreneurship and being heavily in the digital space, having tried a lot of things. And that is with online courses. You don't have to have some big, robust, fancy website built out to make money on courses. You don't have to have this giant brand and this amazing brand recognition. Sure, you'll sell a lot more, faster and easier if you already have that, but you don't have to have that in order to sell courses. You don't have to even be this big face of your brand to sell online courses. Because I know a lot of you are like, God, in order for me to sell digital products and have an online business, I have to show my face. I have to constantly be on video. It's all about me. And some of you are probably more introverted, like I am, or it's just doesn't really light you up to have all these like pictures taken of you and have it all be about you. Well, you don't have to sell courses. That's why I'm saying you're sitting on a gold mine. The thing that's preventing so many of you from doing it, and I guarantee most of you listening right now have had an idea for a course, have seen someone else promote a course, or you've seen an ad for a course or something like that, or an email. And you're like, God, I know I could do that. Like, I could teach that. Or you might have even thought like, God, they're not even that good. Like, I could teach so much better. But you've not done it. Or maybe you have launched something and it didn't really sell. I'm guessing the majority of you just haven't done it. And you haven't done it because you've come up with some belief that it sounds like a crap ton of work and that you need to have all these things in place first, like a brand and a logo and special pictures and graphics and all this tech stuff in order to do it. So you've made the task so big that it's overwhelming and it paralyzes you. And then all it does is stay stuck as an idea. Why do you think so many people have all these ideas for great inventions and then they never follow through? I'm not impressed by idea people. There's a lot of idea people in the world. I mean, just like share a bottle of rosé with me, right? And we'll end up coming up with the most amazing ideas. There's so many idea people. Who I'm impressed with are the executors, the people who take an idea and run with it. Like when you watch the Shark Tank, it's like, I love, especially Mark Cuban, once in a while he can be a dick, but he, for the most part, he acknowledges the entrepreneurs like, hey, you had an idea, you had an invention, and you went for it. And that's a lot of freaking work. It's not just the money, it's the sweat equity, the time, the emotional energy, and you actually did something with it, where most people just sit on an idea and get paralyzed with the overwhelm of all the work that's involved. And I don't want that for you guys. Now, when you're doing a physical product, something like that, or you're doing something like an app or a piece of technology, yes, that is a much longer, a long tail approach to putting something out there for people to buy. But with online courses, this is something you literally could do and make a point of doing. I'd be very confident this could be done in 3 days, depending on what else you have going on in your life. But even for my clients, my coaching clients who are also right now homeschooling their kids, making 1,000 meals, dealing with their husband who asks them 8,000 times a day, where's this? Where's that? You guys know what I'm talking about. Even in a week, with concentrated, focused energy, I'm confident that you guys can do this, because I know with my clients what they also have going on in their lives and what they're doing. I have clients who have full-time jobs that even in this whole quarantine thing are having to be on 4 or 5 Zoom meetings a day. They're having to do reports and they're still getting it done. But I cut out all the fluff and I teach them exactly how to do it efficiently. And so there is obviously a higher success rate at the other end of it, meaning more sales, more money, but also you don't waste a bunch of time on stuff that you don't need. So I wanted to create an episode to get you guys inspired and fired up in order to do this, because I know you've had this thought. It's like almost as many people have had the thought of creating a digital course as they have of, I should write a book someday. And the same premise is true of where the resistance is in writing the book. Oh my God, that sounds like so much work. It's just because you've not done it before, and we come up with all these different beliefs that it's hard versus that it's easy because you have no proof otherwise. I'm telling you, there is a hard way to do most damn things in this world. Believe me, I've done most things in my life the hard way because that's the belief system that I was raised with. And then I compounded over it, and then corporate America compounded over it over and over again with me. And then I surrounded myself with people and situations that compounded that belief, but it's not true. The truth is that things are only as hard as we make them to be. We can allow things to be easy. That doesn't mean there aren't bumps in the road or things that are a pain in the ass, but it doesn't have to be hard for it to be worth it and for it to make a lot of money. So I'm going to get to some of the key things that you need to create a successful online course and a couple of my mistakes to avoid. Now, you guys want to go much deeper in creating a course and have all the fluff cut out, have it customized to what you want. There's 2 ways that I can do that with you, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. But first, I just want to make sure you have access to this free content. Number 1, the e-learning market is projected to be worth $325 billion by 2025. This is from Forbes. This is a rapidly growing market. You're not too late. It's not like, oh my God, everyone has a course now. So, who's going to buy mine? It is rapidly growing. Hello, there's new beauty products and skin products coming on the market every single week. And last time I checked, how saturated is that market? There is always room for something great that is niche specific and that is unique. And it's unique because you're the teacher. When you're doing a course, either you're the teacher or you're the producer behind the scenes, and maybe it is a business partner of yours, your sister, your spouse who's actually presenting the material. It doesn't have to be you. But I think most of you are the ones who want to be the actual teacher with the intellectual property that you want to convey. And that's what makes it unique, is it's you. There are people who are very drawn to my podcast, like you guys listening. Thank you to my posse listeners. right? And there's people who are like, think that I am not funny, which is really disappointing because I think I can be rather funny. There are people who think I am way too blunt. There are people who find me intimidating. Because even though everything I say is coming from love, but they don't want to hear what I have to say because what I say is the truth. And some people aren't ready to hear that, right? So people are attracted to different personalities and different teachers. You line up a whole bunch of people, or maybe you can ask your kids, right? Or your friends' kids, who's your favorite teacher in school? A lot of them will have a different answer. Some of them will all say like I want to think of like Mrs. Thorpe. That was like one of my favorites because she gave us candy, right? It's like she bribed us. But she was also really fun. But most people like will have a different answer and a different reason why, because we're all different people. So there's room for all of you. All right, let's get to this. The first thing you have to do is, what is a specific top pain point of your ideal client right now? And if you're like, Tiff, I don't even know who my ideal client is, well, then you'd be a perfect fit to be in my ProjectME Posse membership group. This is where I do live coaching every single week. And I teach you how to create your brand, how to craft your wording around things so people actually want to follow you, want to buy from you, want to learn from you. All of my online marketing tips and tricks, teaching you things about, there's at least now 22, way more than 22. I was going to say 22 hours. There's probably like 50 hours of trainings in there that you have access to. So you also get access to all of the past live trainings and from all the past special guests. So we have experts in certain niches that are also in the group. And as long as you've watched their training, you can still ask them questions. Even if their training was 6 months ago, you can still ask them questions and tag them and they'll answer you. So we have a podcast creation expert. We have an Instagram expert. We have an Enneagram expert. We have a manifestation and abundance expert. We have a tech expert. We have a lawyer. So I make sure that you have people who are niche specific experts to also ask questions to, in addition to me. And this is the lowest freaking price point for you guys to get live access to me and for me to help you grow your business. I keep this ProjectME group coaching membership very small on purpose. So we cap it only at a certain number of people, because for me, I feel like these membership groups that are out there, even if they have great information, when there's thousands and thousands of members, I don't feel like I have accountability. I kind of get lost. I don't get my questions answered. So we keep it very intimate. Truly, this is group coaching, and normally group coaching is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. If you go look up any experienced coach out there, this is $100 a month, and it's month to month. If for some reason you need to cancel, you cancel it on your own at any time. So it's crazy to not jump in there and do it. But once we have it once it maxes out at a certain number, I close it again to maintain the intimacy. So just go to projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectME Posse. projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectME Posse. You just have to answer a couple questions. Pay the first month. So it's $150 up front and then $100 a month. And then we let you into the group. It's as simple as that. So you can also hear what other posse members have to say, that kind of stuff. But we have a really great time. It's even more fun now because it's really cool every week when we have our live trainings. And it's like, I'm sitting there with my coffee and I always tell a funny story from the week. And we just have a really good time connecting. And I encourage collaboration. In fact, I require it within the group. So we have, group members. They've all been on each other's podcasts. They've been on each other's, Facebook lives, Instagram lives. So they're cross-pollinating each other's audiences and supporting each other in growth. They've spoken at each other's live events. So it's really, really freaking cool to see. And you would be crazy to not take advantage of this from me. So projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse. Okay. So your specific pain point of your ideal client. That is the most important thing. What happens is people go too broad and they're like, this course teaches you to have an abundance mindset. That is way too vague. How you sell courses is you hit a specific point, like how to grow your Instagram following by 1,000 people, by 1,000 people in 30 days, for example. Right? Very, very specific. How to use hashtags, how to use my proven hashtag system to grow your Instagram following. I'm thinking of doing a mini course about that, teaching you guys my whole hashtag game, because that shit's real. Something like that, very specific. Let's think of, those of you in the fitness world, it can't be enough to lose fat. That's not enough. Okay. You've got to go deeper with that. Like I would make a course just on like muffin top, just on back fat, just on booty, like focus on a specific area. And then you can always create another course on another area of the body. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So it needs to hit a pain point that is so strong and so specific that the person's like, oh my God, I've got to have that. All right. The next thing is I need you to decide if you want to do a mini course, a mid-sized course, or more like a signature course. What I mean by that is a mini course is something like when I just said my hashtag method for maximum Instagram growth and LinkedIn growth. What I mean by that is that would be, what the hell am I even saying? I've only had like 5 sips of coffee. What I mean is that would be a mini course. So I don't know what I'm going to charge for it. It might be $97. It might be $69, but a mini course is under $100. Okay. And it doesn't need to be a whole bunch of videos. It can literally be one video, one PDF, or 2 short videos, something like that, because it's a mini course. A mid-sized course are a lot of the ones you see out there. I would generally say they need to be under $600, so $597, $444, that kind of a thing. And I would say, 4 to 6 modules. What happens is, because most of you guys are over givers, and then there's also this fear that, oh my God, what if no one likes it, or they don't think that the value of what I'm giving them was worth what they spent, and then they're going to hate me or be mad at me or talk bad about me. And then you guys end up putting way too much stuff into one course, and then no one ever finishes the course because they get overwhelmed and it's too much. No, don't do it. You have to trust that as long as you are getting them closer and improving their life or improving that pain point, and you're not going to necessarily solve everything, but you're having them reach those promises. As long as they follow everything you say to a T and they execute, then they're going to get those promises, not guarantees, but those promises, then you can charge for it. So don't put in a whole bunch of stuff. I personally, if it were a mid-sized course, I wouldn't go over 6 modules. Okay. And then for a signature course, and again, you don't have to call it signature course, but it's like, if you want to have a course that's more robust, like my Selling with Soul course, that's the course. It's really more of a program, right? That is my program for my ProjectME Business Academy. That is like the main holy grail of my brand. And that is only open at most twice a year. So we've already had it open once this year. It'll only open one more time this year. And that's where, depending on your experience level, right? Remember, I have a lot of experience, over $100 million in sales transactions. So it depends on your level of, experience, your level of expertise, your level of social proof, also in terms of what you charge. But that course, I can't even remember off the top of my head. I think it was 1997, and then early bird pricing was like 1,600 something. So that's what I mean by a program, some kind of a high level course. That is something that you charge a lot more for. And just because you're charging more, that doesn't mean, oh my God, now I have to give them like 45 modules. No. But it needs to be more robust. I believe mine, I'm not launching it now, so I'd have to refresh my brain. But I think I have 8 modules, but then it came with like 6 bonuses. I have workbooks. There was, really cool, like pay in full. You got a really awesome swag box delivered straight to your door. So it was very involved, but it wasn't too much for people to consume. Everyone who bought it completed it. I didn't sit there and do like, it contains 42 60-minute videos. No one's ever there's like one person who's ever going to finish that. And then what happens is no one really wants to buy from you again, even if they liked you, because they didn't finish it the first time and they know they spent like money on that, like legit money on it. And they never finished it, right? So that doesn't feel good. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to keep putting so much more in it for people to deem it worthy to buy. It's a matter of you hitting those exact pain points and them going, this is the product. Me taking this course is going to solve these problems in my life, or solve this one problem in my life, or help me with this one problem in my life. Okay. The next thing is your title. Like I teach, titles are everything. Your first line in your social media posts, your first line in your blog posts, your titles of your articles, your titles of your videos, your titles of your podcast. Titles are everything. Title of a book. Okay. This is not like new marketing information. This is started from the beginning of the time. Headlines in newspapers. That's what sell. Headlines sell. There's a reason why cover models are paid so much money. They're the visual headline of a publication, of a magazine. They're incredibly important. So your title of your course is incredibly important, and it cannot be vague. If you're going to be a little more vague, for example, selling with soul isn't vague. It's like, okay, obviously it's a sales course and she's teaching me to sell in a way that has soul. So that's not vague. But the reason I could make it very simple is because I had a sub headline, and it's also my signature program. So I could say selling with soul, teaching you how to sell in a way that feels good to you, that you actually enjoy selling. So I had like a sub headline that supported the Selling with Soul name. So you can definitely do that. But for mini courses, for mid-size courses, if you can create a short title that makes it really clear on what people are going to get, that's ideal. But it's also okay if it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. I think I saw someone doing one like IG stories, IG stories that sell or something like that. And it's like, okay, I get what it means. It's like, it has something to do with using IG stories to sell. But then the person did not put underneath some kind of support headline to make it extra clear, that pain point extra clear. Like finally start bringing cash into your business using IG, using my 5-step, IG story system, IG story sales system, or something like that. Of course, that was FMA from my ass. But you guys see what I'm saying? So you need to have something supporting. You saying, learn to think like a unicorn, something like that. That's way too vague. That's not going to work. Even if it's like manifesting your best life, what in the hell does that mean? That's not a good title. That's too vague. So you don't be lazy about your titles. What I find is people put a ton of time, even money and energy into doing the course. And then they're kind of like burnt out and they just want to get it out there. And they get lazy about the title, the sales page, and the marketing copy, and actually promoting the damn thing. It needs to be backwards. Not like you're not going to put in great material inside your course. But I mean, the most important part is marketing the damn thing. Okay? I know you guys will have good content inside your course, but stop tripping so much about the course and put that energy towards marketing it. Then I need you guys to list out your promises. And this is all done before you're recording anything, okay? Before you're recording, doing anything, before people teach all this crap of mapping out your modules. That's great. You can do all that. That's fine. I don't think that's the hard part for you guys and saying, oh, this is, how I want to teach someone. If you don't have the marketing whole setup done and very clear before you even create your course, it won't sell or it will barely sell. That's why so many people get frustrated. So you need to list out your promises. What will they come out achieving if they watch your course and follow it to a T? What do you feel confident in saying they will achieve? And I want you to list all those out, even though you haven't recorded your course yet. What is it you want them to achieve coming out? And then you reverse engineer it and make sure you teach them what you need to teach them in order to have these desired outcomes. Now, marketing hack, make sure these promises are in exact alignment with what your ideal client is desiring to achieve, their core desired outcomes and emotions. Ideally, you'll use their own words of what they say that they would love to have change in their life, in their business, what would make things easier for them, what would make their day smoother, whatever that is. And then I know, don't worry, I'm going to make sure I get to it. As far as what platforms to do it on, the tech stuff, the sales pages, this does not need to be some crazy high tech, oh my God, this is going to cost me a fortune, and hiring people, I don't even know where to begin. I understand tech stuff. I understand enough to not get taken advantage anymore by people who do tech. Okay. That was one of my big mistakes I made in the first few years of my business is I didn't like tech stuff. And so I got bullshitted a lot by hiring tech people that made things seem much harder than they were. And therefore they ripped me off because it sounded really hard to me. And then I started learning enough to figure out what is hard and what isn't. I mean, I was paying people like hundreds of dollars to press 2 buttons that I had no idea it was that easy, So you do want to know enough to not get screwed, but that took me a while to figure that one out. So for platforms, I use Teachable. They do not sponsor me. There are other platforms. The reason I use Teachable is my website is on WordPress. I don't like the idea of all my eggs being in one basket. There are these platforms out there, and I'm not knocking them, like Kajabi, where you can have everything all in one place. Not a bad thing. I just have learned in my years in business that I'm not comfortable with all of my assets, all of my digital assets for one business, all being housed by one company. What if that company goes down? What if that company's servers go down? It's just in my experience. And when you've had enough crazy shit happen, you get very careful with stuff. But not to say it's not a good platform for you right now. I'm just saying that's for me specifically. So I use Teachable. You don't even have to have a website to have a digital course. You can use something called Lead Pages, And it's like a plug and play format, and it's a landing page. So you're paying them just for a landing page. It gives you a URL, and now you have a landing page for your sales page, which is really the same thing in this situation. For the course, they land on it. They click to go buy it. It takes them to Teachable to buy it. And then they do the course inside Teachable. And if they have difficulty accessing something in the course, sure, they can email you, but they also have so much help support with Teachable. And Teachable has a lot of really helpful tools and videos to help even the most, even people who are totally clueless with technology, help them. And same with lead pages. It's easy to use. There's also ClickFunnels that you can use. And that's another, landing page, sales page generator. I find their tech to be more complex, and I don't find their designs to be as pretty. There's more of like a masculine energy to it. So depending on what business you're in, the look of it's fine, but it's very personal. So you need to check some of those things out. I'm just telling you what I use, which is lead pages and Teachable. And just go look at the different platforms and see what vibes with you, how you feel about the pricing. Because you have to then look at, whatever platform you pick and that pricing, you're going to have to bake that into the price of your course, because otherwise you're like thinking, oh my God, if I just sell, 10 courses that are $200, I make $2,000. Like, oh my God, that's freaking amazing. Yes, that's awesome. I'm all about like $2,000. That's significant money. But remember, most people pay with a credit card. So you have to subtract the credit card transaction fees. You also will have to pay taxes on that $2,000. And you're going to have to pay for, whether you're using lead pages, ClickFunnels. You're going to have to pay for that monthly fee, which isn't that much, but you're going to have to pay for the teaching platform like Teachable, that monthly fee. So you want to make sure you know these costs up front, and there aren't that many costs, but just know them up front so you can make a really clear decision on how you're pricing your course accordingly. So every single person who buys, my cash in pocket is really $140 off of a $200 course. Now, this is from the math in my head, which this kind of math I'm good at, and I operate conservatively. So based on the state I live in, my knowledge of taxes, yada, 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 my expenses, and not including me running any advertising for my course. If I had a $200 course, I would net about $140 off each course. You guys, that's brilliant. That's incredible. You have physical products. Your margins are much, much smaller, and it takes a lot more work to get your margins really, really small. That's what's so great about digital products, is the margins are so incredible because your costs are so low and they're managed. So you guys want more direct help in this. Like I said, go in, sign up, get in to my group coaching experience, I guess we could call it. And that is where I teach you guys every single week live. You get to collaborate with the other group members. Of course, ask me any questions you want, have access to, God knows, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens, well over 100 hours of past trainings on every possible topic you can imagine, and get more direct help with this. Your other option that I mentioned in the beginning that I would let you know, if you're like, Tiffany, I love the idea of doing group coaching with you. That sounds amazing, but I want to go right for it right now. I've procrastinated on this long enough. I get what you're saying, and I just need help really refining it, having it be really, really clear. And then all I need to do is just record the damn thing. I have 90-minute intensive sessions that are customized. You do not have to apply to get in. My private 2-month coaching, you have to apply. There is a short wait list right now, but my 90-minute coaching, you do not have to apply to get into it. You just have to make sure you can get in on my calendar. I know there's spots in there right now. and you just go right in for that. You can find that on the Work With Me page on my website. And my website is ProjectMeWithTiffany.com. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com. And it's right there, right on the top. It says Work With Me. Just click on it and you will see the different ways to work with me. So I want to make sure it's taken out of your head of, oh my God, that was helpful what she said, but now my head is spinning and da 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 da. Well, I can't teach every single thing that goes involved in having a successful course in one episode. Your eyes would glaze over, and every single person's niche and target ideal client are different. I just wanted to make sure I shared those key factors and what you need to make sure you do first before you create anything, and some key mistakes that I've made and that other people make. Like, you want to do this upfront work first before you record the damn course and map out your modules. Believe me, that's a number one mistake people make. And the number two one is stuffing way too much content in a course to thinking, oh, well, then people will find it more valuable and be more likely to buy. Yet they won't finish the thing. It'll be overwhelming and they'll never buy from you again. So you're actually, your own fear of not feeling like you're delivering enough value will be the very thing that actually makes them not feel it's valuable, if that makes sense. Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. I hope you loved this episode, and I will talk to you guys soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.